when the Orem mission was created, it took, like I said, 1 zone from the Salt Lake South mission, 6 from Provo. So it started in Riverton. That's the furthest north you can go, is Riverton. And the furthest south you can go is Orem. And it wraps around Utah Lake down into the desert. So not like no one goes out into the desert. Obviously the jackrabbits don't need the gospel yet. But it's a lot bigger than my first mission, but it's a lot smaller than the Provo mission. That was funny, seeing the boundary changes. All the Provo missionaries were like, what? It is so small. And I'm like, this is huge. What are you talking about? But, yeah, so those are the boundaries from, like, Tooele County to almost the mountains, not quite the mountains. And then from Riverton down to Orem. So I know there's English and Spanish. There's Portuguese, and there are missionaries that cover. So because Utah mission boundaries are so small, there are missionaries that cover other missions. Like there are different Spanish areas within the Orem mission. And one of the Spanish areas is actually covered by the South mission still. Up in Riverton, they're still covered. Same with like young single adults and stuff. And like Chinese is covered by the Provo missionaries, but they still come up to Orem for like UVU and stuff like that. So there are a lot of different languages. Some are just, I guess, stationed in other missions, but they will come to our boundaries to teach people who speak like Chinese or Russian. Like I taught in my second to last area, I taught someone who spoke nothing but, oh man, what is that language? They speak it in Thai. Oh my gosh. She spoke Thai or Laos, something like that. But that's all she spoke. She spoke no English. And then I also taught someone who barely spoke any English, and she was Russian. So there's a lot of different ethnicities that were taught, even if missionaries weren't assigned. We just got interpreters that were like RNs or something to come help us. There was like 130 in the Orem mission when I left, I think, around there. And they're trying to get it up to like 180, I think, something like that. When I first came out into the Salt Lake South mission, there was over 200, and that dramatically dropped, and that was because of the mission split. The missionary department obviously knew that that was going to happen and accommodated. But I think one of the most unique facts, and the thing that I love most about serving in Utah, especially at the time I did, was the fact that we did have the biggest mission boundary change in the history of the church, and that I was able to open a new mission, and to have that experience is pretty cool.